What's up YouTube? This is part 2 of my how to make your bike street legal and how to install a rear fender kit. In the first part of the video we covered how to install a universal license plate bracket and rear tail light, how to mount your license plate to that. This second part is going to cover what you're going to need to make your dirt bike or ATV street legal. The first thing you're going to need is Secretary of State TR45 form. This is going to be a form. This is specifically for Michigan, but every state that allows you to take a dirt bike and make it street legal is going to have a form like this. I'll link a website link to the Secretary of State form in the description below. But basically, this form is going to ask you what your name is, what the VIN number on the frame is. In some cases, you might not have a VIN. One will be assigned to you. It just wants basic information of who you are, what the make and model of the motorcycle is. Super easy to fill out. Yeah, you're just going to fill that out. You're going to call your local sheriff's office and you're going to schedule an appointment to have an inspection done on your motorcycle to make sure that you're checking all the boxes on what's required to make your bike street legal. So today we're going to cover specifically for Michigan, state of Michigan. That's where I live. So we're going to cover what's required to make a dirt bike street legal in this state. But most of these rules are going to carry over to all states that allow street legalization of a dirt bike. So make sure you check with your local ordinances to make sure you're checking all the boxes, because one or two things may be different. But the big ticket items are going to be the same. All states are going to require everything I'm going to mention in this video. Some states may be a little bit more strict though. Michigan's pretty lax. I was going to make this all one giant video, part 1 and part 2, but obviously I talk way too much, so let's just get to it. I'm going to walk you through when I showed up at the sheriff's office, what he was looking for. So like I said, print out that form, make an appointment, show up. And these are the things you're going to need to have basically completed before you show up. A little word of advice is don't show up with your bike being super dirty. They're going to sometimes want to touch your chain, make sure you don't have crazy chain slack, or touch your tire or something, whatever. If it's covered in mud, you're just going to piss the officer off. So it's always nice to have a nice clean bike. They're going to see that you're caring for the motorcycle. Another thing is this is not mandatory, obviously, by any sort of a state guideline, but try not to have your bike leaking oil all over the place and spewing brake fluid or something. The officer might fail you just for that, even though it's not a written rule. If your bike looks unsafe to operate on public roads, it's not going to pass an inspection. So make sure you have the basics covered before you even attempt to do any sort of conversion. Other than that, you're going to need some street legal DOT tires. And I've heard many people getting away with not having these tires. Some officers know basically that you're just trying to ride your bike out to a trail, so they're not really going to give you a hard time. But some officers will fail you for that, right? It is a requirement, a legal requirement. So I would suggest not messing around and either picking up a pair of street legal tires or having a friend borrow you his set of wheels if you have similar bikes. A lot of these dirt bikes, it's like a 21 up front, 18 in the back, or 19 in the back. So you could usually change wheel sets between bikes, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal for you to source a set, right? Even your local forum might even help you out. The big thing is here, I'm going to flip the camera. You're going to want a tire that has this label on it over here. It's right there. It says DOT, so that means it is a street legal tire, allowing you to operate with this tire on a public road. If it doesn't have that DOT, it doesn't matter what the tire looks like, what the tread pattern looks like. If it doesn't say DOT, the officer's not going to pass it if he's looking for that. The second thing usually they look for is your headlight. So I'll show my headlight here. I got this headlight here at Harbor Freight. It's an 8-inch LED bar. These 4 in the center here are floodlight, and these 8, so 4 and 4 on the sides, those are this is a spotlight, and these 8 are floodlights. So this kind of shoots a narrow beam really far out in front of the motorcycle, and these 8 shoot out off to the sides, which is really nice because when you're riding at night, I typically try not to ride at night, but if you get caught out in the dark, you can see more off to the sides, especially in Michigan. There's a lot of deer and stuff. You kind of want to see what's coming off to the sides, not just what's directly in front of you. So the code states you need to have a high beam and a low beam. This kind of covers both since it's got that pretty far out beam. The officer can give me a hard time about that. The next thing you're going to need is a rear fender with a tail light and a license plate bracket, which was covered in the previous video. But right here, we installed that. It looks pretty nice. You're going to need a tail light, so when your motorcycle is running, you're going to want this to be on all the time. And then when you actuate your brake lever, it's going to light up even more, indicating that you're braking. There's no option. You have to have this. It's a safety concern. I wouldn't even run without a tail light. So go ahead and get yourself this, get it installed. You'll get your license plate after this whole inspection, so you'll have that. You'll need a brake switch to activate the tail light when you're hitting your brake. So most dirt bikes, or all dirt bikes, I want to say like 2015, will not have this brake switch right here. You can see it. It's in line with my master cylinder. This is the banjo bolt right here. That's the brake switch. So when I hit my brake lever, it's sending an electrical signal to my rear brake light to flash the brake light. Again, super safety critical here. Don't mess around with that if you're riding on the roads. Just be safe, guys. Not mandatory in Michigan, but my rear brake actually has a switch as well. So if I'm using my rear brake, it'll light up my tail light. But that is not mandatory to have. Highly suggested by me. The next thing they're going to look for is a mirror. So if you have one mirror, it has to be on your left hand side, your left handlebar here. The video's inverted, so probably it's going to look like it's on my right hand side, but this is my left hand and that's my left. You need that. If you want to run 2, that's fine too. Get better visibility. I only have one. Next thing you're going to need is a horn, which I don't have this. The officer kind of gave me some crap about it, but you know, this is not the most safety critical thing, so he kind of let me slide. Probably just get it done. They're like 20 bucks on eBay. I could probably put a link. I'll find one for you guys. You're going to want to mount that switch right over here, and the horn's going to go like in front of your radiator or something. It's going to be 1 bolt. Another thing you're going to need is in Michigan, there's some weird rule about your seat being permanently mounted. So if they yank on the front part of the seat here, this side right here, it can't come off, right? It's got to be permanently mounted, right? So you can't get this off if you're pulling on it. You have to take the 2 bolts off, or some bikes have clips, but it can't just readily come off while you're riding. And yeah, I think that's it. It's super simple. You show up, they'll check for those things. After you have that, you got to get some insurance. So I have Progressive. They're super cheap. On a bike like this, I think it costs me like $100 a year. So even in the winter, I keep it insured because it's not even worth it to winterize it. $100 a year for comprehensive. And you're going to need that. You're going to need that TR-45 Secretary of State form that you took to the sheriff's office. He'll sign off on it that you passed your inspection. You take both of those to the Secretary of State, and they will present you either if you have a title for the bike already, you present that to them and they'll make it street legal and hand you a plate. Or if you don't have a title for the bike, they will generate a title for you, and then you will be on your way and you can ride your dirt bike on public roads, which is sweet because like I commute with this bike. I got a pretty streetable tire here. It's not super knobby. So like I can commute to work, I can commute to trails. It's a ton of fun. It's a blast. I race an R6, and it's just, those are no fun on the road because you got to be going super fast to have fun on those. And, you know, it's just ticket after ticket on those. So This is perfect, right? You can, I mean, these things top out at like 90 mile an hour, so it's hard to get in a lot of trouble on them, and you can go off road. So I hope this video can help a few people, you know, save a few trips to the sheriff's and Secretary of State office, so you guys know what's required. You guys can get all that ready beforehand. And yeah, give me a like or subscribe if this helped you out, and looking forward to making more videos for you guys. Thanks.